Good morning, everyone. And I want to wish all of you, on behalf of all the clergy and staff here at the Cathedral, a very happy 4th of July. You know, in ancient times, one's birthright and the final blessing from one's father was extremely important. For the firstborn, it was a sign of an inheritance that had been given, and an inheritance that now needed to be lived by a new generation. Esau, the firstborn son of Jacob, was supposed to have his birthright, his inheritance, and therefore the final blessing of his father, Isaac. He gave it away, the birthright, and it was stolen from him, in a certain sense, the final blessing. In our first reading, we hear of Esau losing that final blessing by way of deception. But several chapters earlier in the book of Genesis, Esau loses his birthright simply because he wanted to eat something. We are told in the 25th chapter of Genesis that Esau comes in after working and hard in the field and hunting, and he comes into his brother Jacob and asks him for food. Jacob says, "Will you give me your birthright?" He says, "Yes, I will." And so for a bowl of red pottage, Esau loses his birthright. And then in today's first reading, we hear of the final blessing being lost to Esau as well. Jacob is able to deceive his blind father and receive the blessing first. How easy it is for Esau and for any one of us to lose our inheritance. Now, what does all of this have to do with the 4th of July? Well, on the 4th of July, today, we are celebrating a great inheritance, the inheritance of our country, of our Declaration of Independence, of the principles upon which this nation was founded, upon the freedom that we enjoy. We must see our freedom as not just simply a gift from God, but also a task. We must see our freedom not only as an inheritance that's given, but an inheritance that must be promoted and defended. First of all, our freedom is a gift. It's a gift from God that predates government. Particularly our religious freedom has its foundation in who we are as a human being. You and I have been created by God, for God, and our worship and honoring of Him. We have been made out of love for Him and to be in communion with Him forever. Therefore, part of who we are as a human being is the freedom to respond to God out of love. There is no love of God unless there is freedom. So freedom is a gift, and as I said, it predates government. If any government thinks that our freedom, particularly our religious freedom, is simply bestowed upon us by that government, then that government is tyrannical. That government will eventually and very quickly become oppressive. No, our freedom, in particular our religious freedom, predates government. It comes as a gift from God and is part of who we are as human beings. But also, my brothers and sisters, on this 4th of July, we must not only give thanks to God for this gift, we must also ask, as our opening prayer asked, that God will help us to courageously defend and promote our freedom. For freedom is not simply just a gift, it is also a task. This is what Esau forgot. He just assumed that he could receive his inheritance, and that would be all there is. No, he needed to preserve it, to fight for it. And he gave in, unfortunately, in order to receive just a bowl of red porridge. There are many idols, if you will, in our world today that can take the place of our worship of God and enslave us. We can even be silent about how our freedoms are being taken away by a misguided sense of good manners, as Archbishop Chaput says. We must be a people who are willing to promote and defend our freedom. That means, of course, rejecting simply headlines and sound bites and slogans that can lull us into sleep. No, we must be interested in issues in our country, in the character of our politicians, in the principles that undergird all of our government. These things matter. To be a true Catholic means being a true citizen. And so we have to work at defending and promoting our freedom. We have to think rationally, act courageously, and take the time to defend and promote who we are as a free people. My brothers and sisters, this 4th of July is a time to celebrate, yes, but also reflect on all that we have been given and how much we need to preserve what we have been given. Just this morning, as I was eating breakfast, I was rereading in the morning call a copy of the Declaration of Independence. And I was struck once again of two things. In rereading that great declaration of over 200 years ago, I saw how our founding fathers were completely convicted of the inherent and God-given value of freedom that they had received. But not only that, not only did I see that they understood freedom to be a gift from God, but I was also struck by the courage that they had to sacrifice even their very lives to preserve and defend that freedom. May we ask the Lord in this Mass that we might be the same, like our founding fathers, who indeed understand our freedom as a gift and as a task, so that we might better be able to serve and to love our God, who wants us to love him in complete freedom.